Hi, I'm Chet Lazzarino, and this is Cooking with Chet. The weather's getting a little cold now, and I've decided for my next family dinner to do a stew. And that's a lamb stew with vegetables, and I don't know if you're familiar with it, but that's a Cucuzza Longa or an Italian squash. We're making a lamb stew, and basically it comes with this Italian squash, like I tell you. This squash obviously can't be found in any stores. I've never found them in any stores, but if you got Italian friends that grow them, I've grown them myself once in a while. That's about the only way you can get them. So anyhow, with lamb stew, like I'm making today, I primarily like it with this particular squash. And if I can't get this squash to make it, I don't make lamb stew. So here we go. The ingredients for this is pretty much standard, except for we're using lamb instead of beef, and we're using Cucuzza Longa instead of zucchini or something like that. The other ingredients that we got today are potatoes, carrots, onions. I got some tomato products and a little garlic. This is my lamb. So what I'd like to start doing right now is like to start braising my lamb, and while I'm doing that, I can show you how to cut the squash and get it prepared. So here we go. Okay. So before I start to braise this lamb, I'd like to tell you, this is Lamb Shank, and if you buy it in a butcher shop, you can have it cut up in pieces. You can take it home whole and braise it, and the meat generally falls off the bone. It's good to have the bone in the stew and then just discard it afterwards when you're ready to serve. Some of the lamb comes seasoned, and some of it is just packaged without seasoning. That's your choice. You could add your own seasoning. So I'm going to take the lamb now, and I'm going to start to braise it. Put a little olive oil in the bottom of the pan. Take my lamb and put it in the pot. Now some people might want to add a little flour to their lamb, but because I've got all of this ingredients is going in, the potatoes, it's going to thicken up the tomato a little bit, so I don't generally use flour when I'm braising my lamb. So I'm going to let this lamb braise for a little bit, and I've got all my vegetables ready, so I won't need to do any of the cutting for that. But I'd like to show you how to cut this Cucuzza Longa. So here's the way I prepare my Cucuzza Longa. So we got all this pretty much cleaned up with all of the skin off of it. It looks pretty good now. A couple of small pieces on the end here. So what I do is I cut it in half now. Sometimes you'll find seeds inside, and sometimes you'll find pulp. Whichever you find, you have to take it out. What I do is I just take a spoon like this, and I take this pulp area out. So that gives you a nice clean piece of the squash. And I just take and cut these in pieces about like this. And this is the way they'll end up in your sauce. Okay, I'm going to just set this aside right now. Because I don't put this in with the vegetables because it doesn't take nearly as long to cook the squash as it does the carrots and the potatoes. So I'll set that aside, and that'll go in very last. I'll show you the process after I get this lamb done. The lamb is coming out nicely. I'm going to take this out in a few minutes and set it aside. It's braised nicely. It's pretty well browned. Okay, so at this point, I think I'll just take it out and set it aside. Okay, now I'm going to prepare a little garlic here to put in. I'm going to saute the garlic in the pan with some of the seasoning that's left in the pan from the lamb. I'll just add this to the pot. Drop some olive oil in here. And with my garlic, I'm going to saute some onions at the same time. My onions, I didn't cut them real small because I like them to be, you know, healthy, nice bite sizes in the stew. So today I'm using the San Morizanos, and they're a whole peeled tomato, and I don't like my tomatoes real chunky, so I'm going to put this in an osterizer. By the way, take a look at my fancy osterizer. I lost the lid on it, so I have to use a dish to kind of keep it from piling over. So here we go. We're going to just kind of chop this up or puree it a little bit. Good. Got this done nicely. I'm going to put my meat back in now. Stir that with the onions. And now I'm going to add my tomato to it so we can start cooking. Okay, so I can put this on medium high right now and get it to start cooking. And I'm going to add my potatoes and my carrots now. These are about 2 cups a piece. Maybe a little more, a little less, but pretty close. Okay, like I mentioned now, my this squash, I don't like to put that in because it'll soften up a lot quicker than the other vegetables. So we're going to cook these vegetables now for I don't know, I'd say probably an hour or 45 minutes at probably medium high, and then down to medium after it gets a little hot. Looks like it's a nice stew here going so far. And well, you can take a look and see what it looks like right now. It's not finished, but pretty much there. Now that I have everything in here, I'm going to add a little salt and pepper. And by the way, the seasoning that you buy your lamb with could vary from any number of seasonings that the companies that prepare it. Could be rosemary, it could be oregano, it could be just about anything. But like I say, you can buy it seasoned or not seasoned. It's your choice when you do. I'm going to add a little bit of wine just for the flavor. Okay, here we go.
Okay, go.
Well, okay, this sauce has been cooking for a couple hours now. Everything seems to be working really well right now. I think it's time to add the squash, or the Cucuzza Longa, and I'm going to put that in for about a half an hour, and then I'll turn the sauce off, and then it'll be ready for our next meal. Yep. Okay, now we're back again, and all of the Cucuzza Longa is cooked. I checked it out. It's been in about an hour and a half. You're going to have to test it yourself to make sure it's soft enough to eat. And I'm going to take some of this out and put it in a plate so you'll be able to see exactly what it looks like. That's the Cucuzza there. There's a lot of lamb in there. We've got carrots and onions and potatoes. It smells very good. And hopefully we're going to have a really nice dinner. I'm just going to put that much out there. So here we are. We're ready to serve. And I might add this little note. Tomorrow night, when there's no more vegetables in here and you have plenty of the sauce left over, it's great on pasta. All I can say is salute.